We're joined by Democratic Senator Joe Manchin. He's in Charleston, West Virginia. Good morning, Senator. I wanted to pick up on something that OMB Director Mulvaney said. He said there might be something called a good shutdown. What do you think of the notion of a good shutdown?
There is no good shutdown. There should not even be the talk of a shutdown. John, basically, we can do a CR, continuing resolution, for 1 day. We can do it for 1 week. We can do it for 1 month. But we should at least stay there and get our job done. Shutting it down puts too much absolute agony on people, and it's just un-American. We should not do that. I've been through a shutdown, and it did not end well, and it wasn't good for anyone, and nobody gained a thing. So I hope that we get the shutdown out of our vocabulary, get back to working, staying there, and get our job done.
Director Mulvaney said that this process that led to the agreement that kept the government open until the fall was a bad process. Some people would look at it and say, well, the Democrats got something and the Republicans got something, and that's not altogether a bad thing when there's bipartisan cooperation.
Well, they're just not used to bipartisan cooperation, and it's so far and few in between. They didn't know what to do with it when they got it. Everybody worked on something. We took care of our military and made sure that was a big effort by many people on both sides of the aisle, but the Republican, President Trump pushed that very hard. That was something that was needed, and we did that. There was other things we wanted to protect, basically, the well-being of people, basically, who have been left behind. In my state of West Virginia, a state that's done the heavy lifting for over 100 years, done the mining, provided energy for the country, made the steel, built guns and ships, defend the country. We've done it all. And we've had a lot of challenges lately, especially with the opiate addiction. We've kept funding in for that. So there's an awful lot of things that basically came out of this that was negotiated. It was a compromise. And that's something we should all be proud of.
Senator, you mentioned the opioid addiction. There was a report that the White House is thinking in its next budget of largely zeroing out the budget or cutting 95% of the budget of the White House drug czar. What's your feeling about that?
John, I would hope that that's not a serious consideration. This, in any other sense of the word, would be a pandemic. We've lost more Americans. I've lost over 800 West Virginians last year, lost their lives to opiate and drug addiction. And this is something that we've got to fight. We've got to make sure that the FDA does not put more product on the market than is needed. The DEA is doing their job of policing it, that basically we have doctors being more educated and not passing them out like M&Ms. We need to have treatment centers that take care of people. We need to start basically education from kindergarten all the way through adulthood. We need to get involved and stop this epidemic that's going on that's just ravishing. For the first time, a lot of states have fallen below the amount of working people, percentage-wise, greater than those that aren't working. And that's never happened before. When you fall below 50% of your adults that should be working, that aren't working, something's wrong. It's either addiction, conviction, or lack of skill sets. We have to attack this, John, and you don't cut 90% of the funding out of the greatest epidemic that we've ever had.
All right, Senator Manchin, we're going to talk to you in a moment after this short break we're going to take about health care and a few other topics, so stay with us. We'll be back with more from Senator Manchin.